So
Thank you.
typically food sensitivity, the functional world measures an antibody IgG, which I think is complete hogwash. And Jason's already said that too, which is amazing. So awesome. So, you know, IgG is literally just telling you, I ate this food. It is not a sign of intolerance. You could have, there's so many studies with 30,000 people, and people with symptomatic and asymptomatic have the same IgG test, right? So a true intolerance to food would be an antibody called IgE that causes the hives and all that stuff from mast cells and all that stuff, right? So that's what he's talking about. The functional medicine world, typically before this MRT, would go IgG, which I think is complete hogwash, and it's completely made up. And Jason's shaking his head, which is great because, for starters, there's no unit of measurement on these tests. So it's what does that mean, right? And then so long as you eat a food, IgG is going to pop up because it just, your body's recognizing it. So that was my huge problem with functional medicine nutritional approach. So that's freaking awesome. So I think, Jason, would you agree, if somebody's asking you to do an IgG test, they are not the right person to be going to?
No, I won't even use it. So like if someone comes in the door and they've had it and they're wanting me to build their diet based on that, I just explain to them that, you know, that's going to show high on anything that they're eating a lot of, and that it doesn't mean they have a true sensitivity, and that we're just going to work the case and not make them miserable, eliminating 5,000 foods they like. Let's just figure out what's going on. Now, you know, if they have like hives, I might pull histamine foods down for a bit and then like work the case. And then if they're still having issues, then get an MRT. But like I said, it's expensive. I bet I run an MRT 2% of the time. I mean, it's not much. I mean, if you work the case and get everything else taken care of, detox pathways opened up, different things, I don't need it much at all. It's real tough cases of hives and different like rashes and, mast cell issues, just things like that. But it sounds like to me is like you've seen some functional doctors offer just a packet of tests that people have to take when they come in the door. And I don't.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Cause I was so turned off by it. I was going to do functional medicine like the 2 full years since I got and then I was like looking at the curriculum. I'm like, it's stool sampling, it's IgG testing, it's all this stuff. I'm like, I strongly disagree with that. So that's freaking awesome that you're doing that. So yeah, don't do an IgG test, folks. It's just a money grab and it tells you nothing.
Okay, so aside from the food sensitivities, I mean, that's not it. Like, there's more to it than the sensitivity, right?
Yeah. But just that's what was one of my big issues, and that's what my concern is, because it's big money, right? But patients or friends go to a functional medicine and they spend $3,000-$4,000 and they're doing all these tests that have no validity. The companies selling them are kind of making up the results. And like we just said, it doesn't tell you anything other than you ate this food at some point. So especially with like gluten, wheat, and dairy, you could have a healthy person and a symptomatic person have the same IgG test, because that's not telling you. IgE and then IgA would be the better one. So yeah, that's freaking awesome that he's doing that. So kudos to that.